Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Social Distance Show. It has been 15 months since the last time I did this show. I decided that I wanted to do this show tonight. I wanted to do a show tonight, and I didn't want to do the 5-minute show, and I didn't want to do local gems, and I'm not ready to do the other ones yet. So I went back to an old, reliable, the Social Distance Show. It's the show that started everything. At the beginning of the pandemic, I started doing the Social Distance Show every single day, and then I did it every single day until eventually people requested that I instead of spending my time doing the Social Distance Show and interviewing people, they wanted me to do their shows and then to pay me to do that. So I did that instead. But I'm glad to be back. My last show was in June of 2020, and my guest that night was the governor, Dan McKee, who was nice enough to do that at the last second. He was one of the people, by the way, that at 7, and then he was like, "I'd like to do my show at Wednesday nights at 7," and I was like, "Okay, I don't do the show on Wednesdays anymore." Anyway, so welcome back to the Social Distance Show. You might be asking yourself, how is this show different than all the other shows that you do? It's not. It just has a different name. Anyway, here we go. So tonight I'm very excited because I'm going to be introducing one of my favorite people in the entire world who shared some big news today. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Rhode Island State Senate candidate, Michael Niemeyer. Mike.
Hey,
my friend, how are you?
I'm great. It was a big day today. And
you did a thing.
I did quite a thing.
You did a big thing.
And it's still so strange to hear you refer to me as a state Senate candidate. But
oh my God!
But we did it. It took about a year to put this campaign together, and
it took a year. I didn't know about it until today.
I am so grateful for everyone who put in all the work to launch this campaign. Now the actual work of running it and winning and bringing change to Rhode Island is underway. So I'm so grateful that you had me on today to talk about it.
Absolutely. You, like I said, you're one of my favorite people. You're an old friend. I'm very excited that you are running for office because when we were, I was a little older than you. I graduated the year before you did. But I've known you since you were a freshman in high school. And when you were a freshman in high school, I was like, I think this Niemeyer guy might be the president of the United States someday. So I said this on Facebook earlier. You are quite possibly the nicest, smartest, most compassionate person I've ever met. And I'm very excited that you want to go into a life of public service and to help your community. So thank you for that. Why don't you take this opportunity to introduce yourself to some people, let them know who you are, what you're running for, and why you're running?
Sure. If you don't know me, my name is Mike Niemeyer. I grew up in South County. I started in Richmond, spent a lot of my life in Hopkinton, and then I moved to Westerly. So I've always been a native to this area. I have always wanted to give back to my community. It's always been a part of my life. And after I went to school for international relations at SUNY Geneseo, I transitioned to wanting to help the world in general. And I started work in Uganda, where I coincidentally met my wonderful wife, Sarah, and my older daughter, Melissa. And that was the greatest blessing of my life. But then while I was there, I saw uh, just glaring inequities. There's a railroad in Uganda that really changed my life because the people who lived in this town explained to me the British had built the railroad just to take materials out of the country. It couldn't transport people. It couldn't do anything for the local economy. It was just for always perpetually exploiting the local people, and they were stuck with it forever. And that really spoke to me about the way that structural inequality keeps people from you think that you can work your way out of a tough spot, but structural inequality keeps so many people trapped in cycles of poverty, of violence, of all kinds of terrible situations. And so when you want to help someone, I realized it can't just be that you want to give them a gift or that you have good intentions for them. You have to be willing to fight for them, because some people, a lot of people in this world, uh, and folks like us, everyday people, are just kind of stuck in these systems that have been put in place for generations. And and I say people like us, but even when I was in Uganda, I felt like I it didn't apply to me. I felt like everything was okay with me, and and really it was about helping other people. But then my youngest daughter was born, and she was born with a very serious disease called lissencephaly. It's something where she's never going to be able to walk or talk or um, do a lot of the things that a parent wants for their kids, uh, and that really beat us up. That broke our hearts. But we started working. We started working really hard. There it is again. You think you can work yourself out of a situation, and we did a lot. We made it so that she could chew. We gave her speech therapy, and we trained her constantly every single day. And now she can chew her food, and she can swallow it, and she doesn't need a feeding tube. And we put her in a stander, and someday she's going to be able to use crutches to get around. And all kinds of hard work goes in as a parent, and you just want the best life for your child, and we're going to give it to her everything we can. But then that inequity, that inequality, that structural problems in our society came down on me too. Insurance suddenly decided they didn't. Insurance had been good to me my entire life, but they suddenly decided they didn't want to cover my family so much, not if we were going to have a sick kid. So they started pulling coverage for things like the antacid to stop her stomach bleeds. They denied coverage for a chair that would position her to help her swallow her food. At one point, we were offered by another company full coverage of her corticosteroid treatments to fight her seizures, and our insurance company blocked it. They blocked someone else from helping us just because they wanted us so badly to drop them as our insurer and try to push us off onto someone else. They were fine insuring us so long as we were a healthy family, but this health insurance was not interested in insuring a sick family. That was the structure that we were given, that we inherited. It was put in place years, decades before I was born, long before my baby girl was born, and still, there it was, something that we as individuals just couldn't overcome, no matter how hard we worked. A horrific cruelty in a system that we couldn't escape. And so, Ben, I'm going to ask you something really quick. Am I an angry person?
You are the opposite of an angry person.
Well, let me tell you, I decided to run for office, and when I did, I was angry. I was so angry at the way they treated my little girl, and I looked around that neurodevelopment wing in Hasbro Children's Hospital, and I could hear conversations as I went by. Every parent was going through the same thing. It's an epidemic of cruelty, what's going on in our healthcare system, and it's happening in all kinds of systems here in America. People aren't being treated well, and I was furious. And so I decided to run. I decided to do something about it, because this can't keep happening. It's been going on for generations. The time to deal with these issues, healthcare, but also the environment, also justice reform, all the time to deal with all these issues in a bold manner was 50 years ago. What we're doing now is emergencies.
Absolutely. Um, well, and I was just sharing some photos, some photos of your lovely family, Sarah and Melissa and Maeve, and so I'm glad obviously one of the you and I do a show together every week, This Week in Westerly, where you highlight people in the community that are doing great things, organizations in the community that are doing great things. And my favorite part of that show, while it's wonderful to hear everything that the library and the Johnny Cake Center and the police and the Westerly ARC and the school committee and everything. We've had some amazing guests on there. It's wonderful to hear everything that they're doing. But my favorite part is that once a week I get to check in with you, and generally speaking, for the most part, it seems like every week you get to tell me some miracle that has happened with Maeve, and
Yeah.
that's my favorite part of the week. Is she was never supposed to be able to play with toys and do all of these things that she keeps doing, and it's just so to see the love and compassion that you and Sarah have, not only for your own family but for everyone, is not surprising to me at all, because I've known you, like I said, for 15 years. But it's wonderful to see. So you announced your. Sorry, go ahead.
Before we go off that, I did want to inform you that she waved for the first time. Her grandparents came home from a trip, and she went. They were waving to her, and she waved back which again, is one of those things that kids with lissencephaly never do. She's a miracle. Sorry, I interrupted.
No, she absolutely is. She's by far my favorite Niemeyer. um, so let's talk about your. Well, first of all, I do want to say we have a question already.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You can hit comments over on the side, and you can see people's questions. So if you have questions for Mike, feel free to ask them. And I just want to point out that you can go to Niemeyer4RI.com, and Mike has also decided to give his phone number out, which is 401-584-2010. So this is a very genuine man who loves to talk to people, loves to help people, and loves to find solutions and answers to the questions, even when he doesn't know them. So, Mike, I can't endorse you enough. I love you, my friend.
Sure. I love this question. How can you help people in poverty without destroying the hardworking middle class? I'm really glad. I'm really glad she brought that up, because
Thank you, Paula.
because it always seems like politicians' answers is to just kind of pit people against each other. And if you don't have a holistic solution that helps people who are in the working class first, people who are putting in the work to build our communities first, your answer isn't going to be good enough. It's going to fall apart. One of my platforms, one of the things I say on my website is that small businesses build our communities. When I was coming up and trying to get through college, it was a small business over in Hope Valley, a little deli. I won't say the name because I don't know if he wants me to bring attention to him, but he made my life so much different than it could have been by trusting me. He was my employer. He's the one who owned the deli. He hired me. He was a mentor to me. He trusted me. He made me help me transition to being a grown up. as I was trying to educate myself. And that really, I think, cemented for me that small businesses and the people who put in the work to build them are the front line. They're the first people in our social safety nets. We tend to think of social welfare as government spending, but making sure that the actual like connections in our community are strong is so much more important. It is important to provide people with help when they're in dire situations. That's the right thing to do, but you need to do it in a way that doesn't drag down the whole initial system that keeps people afloat, and that's our small business community. I think one of the biggest dangers to our small business community is the very very wealthy people not playing by the rules. A small business, if it doesn't play by the rules, the state comes down on it hard. If a big business doesn't play by the rules, they get away with it. And that's not fair. That's not capitalism. That's not a fair competition. So I think one of the best things we can do for our small businesses is to make sure that we're treating them the same way that we treat gigantic corporations. Make sure that everyone gets treated the same. If we do that, small businesses won't have to pay as much in taxes because the big businesses won't be cheating on their taxes anymore. And if that's happening, they can hire more people. I think so much of these problems come down to people at the top taking and taking and taking and not feeding it back into the social institutions that make a society function, which I think everyone can agree for a small town like ours, the front line of that is small businesses.
Well said. I've I got to do a lot of work with the small business community the past year and a half during COVID on the Lieutenant Governor's Small Business Town Hall, which was started by Dan and through the Small Business Coalition in Shop Local Rhode Island. And something that I've always said about that is, small businesses are the fabric of the community. Like if say Melissa, right, your daughter,
My oldest kid.
yeah, say Melissa wanted to play soccer next year.
Mm-hmm.
And that soccer team is going to need uniforms, and where do you go for them? You go to these local small businesses, and when she's 14 to 16 years old and she needs her first job, like where is she going to go? To a small business, much like you did with your mentor in the we shall not name business. And I almost said it before you said that. I was like,
which deli it is.
Yeah. There's probably like one in Hope Valley. But like that's where you go. Like those are the people that are there for you, that are that help the community, that help the nonprofits raise the money that they need to do the other things in the community.
Yeah, I'll say similarly. Very recently, my wife over the summer, she's been working as a cashier at. I'm not gonna say the name.
A local Westerly deli slash. It's very well known for its deli. However, it's also a fine food establishment.
She was working there over the summer when our daughter had to be hospitalized again. And if you want to talk about our small businesses giving a social safety net, they did everything in their power to make sure our family was okay through that time. They gave her the time off she needed. They gave her comfort. They were a social safety net. There's no other way to say it. They were what we needed then. And institutions like that need to be protected for that reason.
Yeah. It's a long haul. The campaign may have officially started today. But it doesn't get voted on until next year.
Yeah. It's a long one.
It's a long one. How are you going to what are you going to do to make yourself stand out, to make yourself be known, and to be there for the people in the district that you hope to represent?
Well, first of all, you can always talk to me. I put my number here. It's also on my campaign Facebook page. Come to me with whatever. And just like I've always done, I'm going to try to help you. It means the world to me to help other people. And if you come to me, I'll do my best. I can't promise anything because I'm just one guy, and I'm not in government right now. But I'll do my best to get my name out there and to let folks know what I'm up to. My plan is to knock on every door in the district. We have counted how many doors there are. We figured out how many people we're going to need to do it. I want every single person or every single household in the district to have a chance to tell me what's important to them. So that when I get to the State House, I'm not just going there with my own ideas about what's important. I want to bring this community's ideas to those guys in Providence who ignore us all the time. If I just go up there and be another guy in Providence ignoring Westerly, what good would that be? I want to hear every single person's opinion in this district, the ones I disagree with, the ones I agree with, so that I can boil it all down, figure out what makes this district tick, and bring it up to them so that they hear it loud and clear. I think this is going to be a great year. It's going to be a campaign something like this district hasn't seen, I think, possibly ever.
All right, big words. My friend, I love that. I love the open door policy. You can call or text Mike 401-584-2010. Send him a message on Facebook, send him an email. You can check out the campaign website. There it is, Niemeyer4RI.com. And I believe is it Michael Niemeyer for State Senate is the Facebook page?
Yep, Michael Niemeyer for State Senate is the Facebook page. I think it's at Niemeyer4RI, not at. So with Facebook, you can type in like facebook.com/ and if you type in facebook.com/Niemeyer4RI, I think it takes you right there.
Yes. It's also an at. You can, if you type in the search bar, the at, it'll come up. So I have a couple more questions for you.
Sure.
And then I'm going to let you go.
Oh, okay.
No. What is your, I want to get into more like policy questions and stuff like that. Cause I know that you're the biggest nerd that I've ever met in my entire life. And I mean that as a good thing. You're very passionate about all of this, and you're very, I talked to you the other day, and you were like, you know what I always do when I'm feeling down? I start thinking about the history of, and then you went into this really nuanced conversation about history and political and something, and I couldn't follow. I was like, thanks, man. We're very different people. I'm gonna go put on TV. Bye. But I love how much you care and how much you think about all of this stuff, and you are a you are a like statistics nerd, policy nerd, so like I love that. And I think that no one's going to get more in the weeds with all of the questions that people and all of the things, the issues that people say and bring to you, because you're one man with one perspective. And I love that you want people to call you, and to knock on their doors and to hear what they care about, because I know that you're the type of person that then is going to do all of the research on the thing that those people care about, so that you can better advocate for them, which is what a representative, what a state senator is supposed to do.
I promise I'm not going to know all the answers, but I also promise that after I'm done talking to you, I'm going to go look them up, and I'll get back to you. That's the best I can do.
And if you're interested in all of the weeds that we can't get into, all of the policy, everything, you can check out his website right here. And there are some of his positions: small businesses, a green economy, healthcare, safer community and justice, shoreline access. So you can find out how to volunteer, his policies, upcoming events, galleries. You can see more of these gorgeous photos of him and his family.
Can I
Contact, meet. Yeah.
can I pitch really quick? The photos were taken by Allie Woodard. She has a Facebook page, Allie Woodard Photo, and yeah.
Who is she? Who is she? I've never heard of her.
Well, she's a Westerly resident, and she's amazing at photography. You also live with her. And
Allie, that Allie.
Allie. And the website, the beautiful website, was designed by Jackie Smith, also of Westerly. They both did an amazing job helping me put all this together, and I'm just so thankful that they believed in this campaign and were willing to put in the work there.
I will not admit any knowledge to knowing. So so last question from me. How has the response been to the campaign since you've announced it today? Because I think like 5 people knew about this, right?
As of this morning, before 10 a.m., which was the announcement, I had it down to about 5 people. I kept I kept a tight lid on it.
Sarah didn't know.
Sarah knew.
She saw the Facebook post. She was like, "What are you doing?"
We wanted to get the word out. When we were all ready, when we had all the answers ready to go, but the response has been overwhelming. People have been sending me messages all day of support. In just the first day, we've raised over $2,000 for our campaign, which I can't believe. I really can't believe, but folks are responding. We're having a moment in Rhode Island, I think, where we're very tired of business as usual, and folks are looking for new answers. The same old answers aren't working. They haven't worked. They've been trying to give them those same exact answers since my grandma was a little girl. She used to complain about it. It's really about time we change, and folks are responding. It's been heartwarming, overwhelming, and heartwarming.
The gaffes are already starting.
Start the blooper reel.
Yes, I'm excited. So, check out if you want to know more about Mike and his candidacy, check out Niemeyer4ri.com or call 401 or text. Texting would probably be better, but call, who cares? 401-584-2010. That is your legitimate phone number.
That is my campaign phone number. Yes, that goes right to me.
That goes right to you.
I gave myself 2 phone numbers.
No nonsense.
No, it doesn't go to anyone else. It just goes right to me.
Good.
I've signed a pledge not to take any money from corporate lobbyists or corporate PACs or any fossil fuel companies, so I can go to the State House completely unbiased, just representing the people. If you're curious about how we do that, we go through all when you donate, you have to give your name. That's sort of a federal law. And we go through all the names. And if a corporate lobbyist donates, we check their name against the lobbying records, and we send their donation back. That's how we do that. But I'm doing it so that I can have a campaign that's just for everyday people. It's just for people here in District 38, down here on the South Coast, because I don't remember anyone ever asking me my opinion, and I know everyone has one. I want to hear it. I'm so excited too. Is that the Preston I think it is?
That's Preston. Yeah, that's Preston. Definitely Preston.
Hey,
I
Preston.
assume, because he's watching on YouTube, and I don't know who else would be watching on YouTube.
It's got to be Preston. Hey,
Got to be
Preston.
Preston. Uh, so all right, man. Well, I do want to say that I'm not a journalist.
It's
Um,
true.
yeah, no, I'm not a journalist. So this is my friend, and this is my show. And I believe in him. However, that being said, I'm open. So anybody else that is running for office that wants to come on and talk to me, okay, cool. That's fine. I'm happy to give you a platform and have you talk about what you believe in. I'm happy to give anyone a platform if they come on and they honestly, earnestly talk about what they believe in and what they're doing and how they want to help their community. I'm happy to give anybody a platform. So
That's what you're best at. That's one of the things I love about you is that you've given a platform to this town all throughout COVID, when connecting with each other was downright impossible. You held the community together in so many ways. The church. I when you were a guest on This Week in Westerly, I said all this, and you acted all embarrassed. So I'm gonna hold off again, but just you know.
thank you, Mike. This isn't about me. I'm not running for anything.
Huh?
Uh, I'm not running for anything. All right, so you'll be back. I assume you're gonna do some live Q&As at some point, right? I believe.
Yes, yes.
So those will be advertised, and you'll be in charge of all of those. But people will be able to ask you direct questions, much like Paula just
Yeah,
did.
yeah. I,
So
I was so
very
glad to
cool.
get Paula's question, and I'll be so glad to hear everyone else's question.
Awesome. Thank you, Mike. Anything? Last word. Go ahead.
Well, let's go. Let's fight. Let's win.
All right. It's good to see you,
Good to
and
see you too.
I'll talk to you tomorrow. Who do we have on This Week in Westerly Saturday?
Oh, we don't have anyone yet. Message me.
All right.
And anyone, message me or Ben if you want. If you want to be a guest on This Week in Westerly.
You forgot about your day job. It's not even your day job. You forgot about the other thing that you do. Goodbye.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye. All right, that's been the social distance show. Who knows? Maybe it'll be gone for another 15 months. Maybe it won't. That is the most genuine, compassionate, empathetic, smart, good man that I know. And I hope that vote how you want to vote completely. But I hope, and this is my ask of everyone in this district, is to open yourself up to get to know Mike, because he's a wonderful human being, and then do whatever you feel like, but get to know him. Thanks.